Alright, so a couple of weeks ago I put a question out there to you guys asking if anybody would be interested in hearing about my particular bout with COVID. If you've been following the channel for any length of time, you know I had COVID back in November, and my case was not your average case. I wasn't hospitalized, thank God, but I was very close. And so today I'm gonna talk about that a little bit. There's not any photography in this video, so if you want to just click off and come on back next week, I don't blame you. It's perfectly fine. We'll see you next week. For those of you that responded and were interested, I hope this is helpful. I know how polarizing the issue is, right? Everything is political, so I'm just going to talk about my experience being genuine and transparent and authentic like I always am with you guys. So first things first, I was not vaccinated. And I had no reason other than I'm a procrastinator. So I didn't get vaccinated. Because of that and a couple other things, I think my case of COVID was a lot worse than your normal case. So those other things are, so I'm overweight, right? I'm probably like 50 pounds, I'm guessing, maybe even more overweight. When I was a kid, I had asthma. And back in May of 21, I had that heart ablation surgery. So my body was really still recovering from that too, right? Because the doctor said your body needs like 6 months to recover from that surgery. So all those things coupled with not being vaccinated, I think my case was a lot worse. So my original symptoms were I had a little bit of a scratchy throat, a little bit of a runny nose, but more prominent was headaches and body aches. I remember saying to my wife, like, my legs felt like I had run a marathon like the day before. That's how sore my legs were. So that went on, those symptoms went on for a couple of days only, and then I finally just went and got one of those drugstore tests, came back positive, but of course my positive, it wasn't an obvious positive. It was a very, very faint line, whatever, on the test. It's like it could have gone either way, but I interpreted it to be positive. So because it was not obvious, I went to urgent care and basically told them the whole story, and they did a PCR test, and of course that was positive. So I was not terribly sick for the first week, I would guess. 5-6 days, I would say at least. So this all went down. I think I tested positive on a Monday or a Tuesday, and the following Monday I went to work in the morning. I work out of the house, but started working, and about 3/4 of the way through the day, I was feeling awful. Brain fog, confusion, fatigue, just extreme tiredness, and couldn't focus. It was bad. I mean, it was weird and bad at the same time. So needless to say, it didn't work after that, and I think I had those symptoms for a while. You just feel awful. You're congested. You have that brain fog. You're having trouble breathing. All that stuff. So that went on for a while. I slept for like a week straight after that. After that, day that I tried to work. And that's pretty close to literal. I might have been awake for 4 or 5 hours a day for about a week. I was just, my body was wiped out. So after that, still sick, still couldn't, a week of sleeping. Now I'm like on the couch. Now I'm able to eat a little bit and starting to feel better. But then I started coughing and coughing and coughing, and it wasn't like your normal cough, right, from a cold or anything like that. It was this violent coughing attacks where I would cough so long and so hard that at the end of it I felt like I needed to vomit. Not to get too graphic here, but it was brutal, and it was so, and that made your body even hurt more. But it was weird because, like I said, I was starting to feel better, thinking I was at the end of this COVID nightmare. But then I started with this cough, and that went on for a few days. Got a hold of my doctor, got in for a chest x-ray. Now I've got COVID pneumonia, which was god awful. Coughing my brains out, and my body was so sore. And that's when you start wondering what the hell is going on, and how long is this going to take, and are you going to get out of this? And all that anxiety and fear and all that kind of stuff crept in. But I eventually I got in to see my doctor. He hooked me up with a few different drugs. Prednisone was one of them. There was another one, I can't remember the name of it. And an inhaler, and just a prescribed like cough syrup. So all these things coupled together, and plus when I first tested positive, of course you go on Google, right, and start looking to see what you should do. So this whole time I had been taking vitamin D, a multivitamin, and vitamin C, and just pounding my body with all these vitamins, drinking tons of water, electrolytes, Pedialyte, Gatorade, the whole thing, and whatever I could do to put in my body to help fight this thing. But what helped me the most, I think, was the prednisone, which I believe is a steroid, and helped clear up my lungs. And I don't know, it probably took a week at least after that. They gave me a week's worth of prednisone and those other drugs, and I took that, and then about a week after taking all that, I was really starting to feel better, and that kind of got me through to the end of it. But it was a month-long nightmare, and that wasn't the end, because my body was still exhausted, and the emotional part or the mental health part was almost as bad as the physical part, at least for me, because you see this stuff on TV for 2 years about how many people are dying from this and this, that, and the other thing. So you just like the whole time you're wondering what's going to happen. All the uncertainty creates more anxiety, and so the anxiety coupled with the physical stuff really kind of did me in. But I guess one of the biggest issues for me after I kind of got out from under the COVID, right, I was starting to feel somewhat human again, and I'm not kidding when I say that. I was just so now I'm less physically sick, starting to feel a little bit stronger at this point. But this whole time you're just feeling vulnerable and feeble and weak, and just like anything could come and take you out. And it's just a weird feeling. It's a feeling I've never felt in my life before. Almost, there's a little bit of fear involved, and just that vulnerability was brutal for me. And you're still thinking. So now I'm 5-6 weeks into this thing, and you start to wonder, well, are you ever going to feel normal again? Are you ever going to feel healthy again? Are you ever going to not feel weak and feeble and sick again? And you will. So you will feel better eventually. It just takes time. And I guess that was my experience. So I tested positive on November 22, 21. It was the week before Thanksgiving. And today's what? December 20, 21. And I still get winded a little bit. Even like having a conversation on the phone, I'll get winded. Just talking sometimes. Not all the time, but it was all the time, a few weeks ago. Walking up the stairs used to make me winded, but not so much anymore. But even now, January 21st, I'm still not 100%. I'm doing a lot. I'm really close to 100%, but that's just as of recent. So this thing lasted a long, long time, at least for me. But for you guys, you just need to remember, just know that this COVID hits everybody differently. My wife, she just felt like she had a sinus infection. I've known people that, were not vaccinated and just had a mild case of it, asymptomatic in some cases. People that, my age or older. So it just hits everybody different. I think the unvaccinated, the overweight, the asthma, the medical history definitely played into my experience. So if you're in good shape and healthy and all that, I think you'll do a lot better than I did. I guess the one thing that I can share, I found out too late about these monoclonal antibodies, and I checked with the doctor, and this is true from what I understand. I don't want to be passing along fake news, but if you get it, and if you're interested in monoclonal antibodies, you need to talk to your doctor early on. So there's only like a 10-day window from when you test positive, I think. But check with your doc early on if you want the monoclonal antibodies, because if you get outside of that 10-day window, it's too late. They're not going to help you, I guess. So I'm told. So as far as, advice or whatever with regards to COVID, that's what I would suggest. But be healthy, enjoy life, and just know that if you get it, you're going to get through it. I know a few of you out there that are subscribed to my channel have reached out to me talking about your experience. A lot of you have gotten it. A lot of you have gotten through it, and I'm happy for that. And friends of mine who are subscribers messaged me on Facebook about their family members. I'm glad you guys are all doing good. This is not something to be taken lightly, but I would also say you don't want to stay up at night fearful of it. That's it. So that was my experience. I hope this helps you guys in some way, and if it does, let me know. And back to photography for the next video, so we'll see you guys very soon. With that, I am Garrett, and I am your very best friend in the whole wide world. So don't forget to hit that old like button, hit the subscribe, be healthy, be happy, and give a hug to everybody that's important in your life. So that's it, everybody. Hey, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.